Hey, it's Michael Kosta. Hello, how are you? This is the Tennis Anyone podcast. It's Tuesday, September 30th. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you go to. Appreciate all of you. So, we will get to results, but the Riyadh Film I can't even say it right. The Riyadh Comedy Festival in Saudi Arabia has just got my attention because I haven't been paying too much attention to the comedy world. Comics are selfish, depressed, egomaniacs, narcissistic. They lack moral clarity. And this Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival is just blowing my mind that so many comics said yes to this. I know money. I get it. Money's nice. Everybody wants money, but it is outrageous to me that comedians want to be taken seriously, want to feel like their comedy is important, want to feel like we speak truth to power. But then look at this lineup. Wayne Brady, Ari Spears, Jack Whitehall, Sugar Sammy, Mo Amer, Alik Sadiq, Ben Hart, Jeff Ross and Friends, Gabriel Iglesias, the Big Fluffy, Omid Jalali, sorry, I don't know his name, Jimeon from the Irish comic, Tom Segura, Joe Coy, Sam Morrell, Hannibal Buress, Andrew Schultz, Sebastian Maniscalco, Jimmy Carr and Louis C.K., Pete Davidson, Mark Norman, Russell Peters, Zarna Garg, Chris Tucker. I mean, it's outrageous to me that this many people said yes to this. I know, money. I know, expanding your audience, but it is nuts to me. I understand America probably kills people too. But I am surprised. A lot of you, I know Mark Maron's came out, David Cross, a lot of comedians. I think Shane Gillis said he didn't go. I did not get asked to do the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. For that is a compliment to me. All you have to do is scroll through my Instagram. And look, this is a very interesting conversation because late night is in the middle of it. Did things get too political? A lot of comics, especially comics that are on here, are going to make the argument of, I want to bring comedy to everybody. And, we maybe don't all speak truth to power. Maybe we just do funny jokes. I don't know. All you really have to do is read the Jamal Khashoggi Wikipedia page, and I've made my decision. If the Canadian government bonesawed a journalist who advocated for free press and spoke truth to power, it would be very hard. It'd be very hard. I should preface this by saying I'm not in a position where I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I need the money. I think that's understandable. If you need the money for your family, you need the money for your family. But either or any of these people, this is insane. This is insane. It is insane. Yeah. And they look so stupid on here because of course they use an image of them like smiling or being cool, but it's the Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. It's wild to me. I'm sure many of these people have many criticisms of The Daily Show and what I do for a living. But my biggest thoughts were, I'm surprised. I was surprised that so many comics said yes to this. I know you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's okay. It's okay to say no to stuff because of morality. I have said yes to things that I thought were questionable. I did a McDonald's thing a few years ago. That still feels icky to me. I've worked for corporations that I don't necessarily align all of my morals with. That is something that comedians have to think about, at least in my opinion. It's my opinion. I mean, I have said no to things because I'm like, absolutely, look, I did a fast food thing that was handed to me. I didn't think much about it. Let's give these comics some credit if they haven't really thought about it yet in their careers or lives. And maybe now they need to, but most of these guys are pretty, and most of them are guys, by the way. Are there any women? Sarna. These are smart people. That's the whole point. Comedians are smart. Comedians talk shit to people who are authoritarian figures. Comedians call out the bullshit. But Michael, I'm going to do a whole set in Saudi Arabia about how fucked up their government is. Let's see it. In my opinion, this hurts the truth to power. This hurts the comedians are the only ones telling the truth. And I was talking a lot about this yesterday with some camera and audio guys at The Daily Show. You know, the late shows started to dive into politics, probably because they needed ratings. And also, comedians' jobs are to call out bullshit where they see it, and this regime has a lot of bullshit. We know that. And for that, I commend them. But Conan O'Brien's sitting on the couch two or 3 days ago with Stephen Colbert was very interesting. Maybe it was yesterday. Because he said, hey, I didn't even know who the president was when I was the late night host. He's joking, but he's not joking. And he's saying it to Stephen Colbert, which was very interesting. He's saying, I had a masturbating bear. I had a plastic dog that would roast people. And he's saying it to Stephen Colbert, which is very interesting to me. Because Colbert probably, him and Kimmel, are probably the ones that went after the president the hardest. The reason, in my opinion, The Daily Show flies under the radar with all this shit is because we've always done politics. We've done Joe Biden. We've done George Bush. We did Barack Obama. We've doing Trump. But these guys made the change to going hard. Remember, Jay Leno would never make a joke about either side. Jimmy Fallon still, like, why make a joke? He does Trump's voice, but it's, if I was Jimmy, I would almost just make a show with puppies and slow motion celebrities getting hit in the face with the beach ball or whatever. And Conan is one of the few people that can sit on the couch and say to Stephen Colbert's face, why are you doing all this politics? Look what it's gotten you. It's got your show canceled. And you know me, I'll defend free speech all day long. I'll defend a comedian's right to talk shit all day long. But when you're on a broadcast network and you keep talking shit about the president, you are playing with fire. And I hope, Jim, and I've defended Stephen Colbert wholeheartedly on this pod. But it was very interesting to hear Conan say, he's joking, he's ribbing. I know Conan would support Stephen Colbert and doesn't want the show late night canceled. And I know that, the first thing Stephen said when he won the Emmy this year was, I hope this institution continues on long after us, which I do appreciate. But I do think, and this sucks to say, I do think comedians who, aren't just on their own pod, but are paid by a corporation. YouTube just paid a Trump settlement. Doesn't that fucking suck? No one's fighting this guy. You got to fight, everybody. You got to stick up. Bullies need pushback. YouTube settlement with Trump. Unbelievable. YouTube to pay $24.5 million to settle lawsuit brought by Trump. Can you fucking believe that? These guys. Mr. Trump had sued Alphabet, the parent of YouTube, Google, and other social media companies after the platform suspended his accounts following the January 6th riot at the Capitol. So maybe you feel like a slight win with Jimmy Kimmel. We showed our force. People were mad. First Amendment. Phew. And then Alphabet, YouTube, Google, who we all use, gives Trump $24.5 million. And comedians, let me just say the names again. It blows my mind. Wayne Brady, Aries Spears. Aries Spears is one of the only comics I've ever worked with in my 25 years that tough. Let's just put it that way. Tough. Wayne Brady, Ari Spears, Jack Whitehall, Sugar Sammy, Mo Amer, Alik Sadiq, Ben Hart, Jeff Ross, Gabriel Iglesias, this guy who I don't know, I'm sorry, Amid Jalali, Jimmy Owen, Tom Segura, Joe Coy, Sam Morrell. These guys, they're so Hannibal Burris, Andrew Scholes, Sebastian Maniscalco, Jimmy Carr, Louis C.K., Pete Davidson, Mark Norman, Russell Peters, Zarna Garg, Chris Tucker. It's extra funny because some of the air or the confidence that some of these comics carry themselves with. And yeah, I you know, maybe this is me looking at it from my perspective, but as stand-up, you get to, you are your business. You are your brand. So you can say yes and no to whatever you want. When you work for a TV show or you work for a company or you're doing an advertisement, you kind of get locked in with that brand briefly, right? So if Russell Peters does an ad for Cadillac or whatever, he has to be aware of Cadillac's business integrity, what their CEO has done. It's kind of your job. And when you work on a TV show, especially if you're not the host, if you're a correspondent, if you're news team, sometimes the script goes on your desk. Sometimes you're like, I love this. Sometimes you're like, oof, this isn't how I would have written it. The show's in an hour. You got to do it. But I don't Russell Peters' picture on here is like, whoa, I'm a zany guy. And then it just says like Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. It blows my mind. I'm very surprised. And maybe someday I'll eat my words. I would think these guys are getting 300,000. Some are getting less. Some are getting more. Is America bad too? Yes. But it's not a good look, guys. It hurts. It hurts the comedy. I got to close it. I'm getting mad. It hurts the importance of comedy. And you can't say, Chris DiStefano, I see, did it. I didn't say his name. Whitney Cummings. Bill Burr. Crazy. Jessica Curson. Maz Jobrani. Is that Dave Chappelle? Aziz Ansari. Nimesh Patel. I missed some names. Crazy. Bill Burr. Jessica Curson. Maz Jobrani. Whitney Cummings. Nimesh Patel. I know. I'm going to run into these guys. And they're going to say, like, shut the fuck up. I'm making money. What did you do? I don't know. It's icky to me. It's icky. It's icky when the tennis players do it. It's icky when the golfers do it. And I understand, Jim Jeffries said it. You think our government doesn't kill people too? Yeah, you're right. You're right. And isn't comedy supposed to bring people together? Blah, blah, blah. It still feels icky to me. And at what point do our artists, do our tennis players, do our golfers, at what point do you draw a moral ground? Some people did. Pete Davidson's father was killed in 9/11. Saudi Arabia, I believe, is deemed to have funded Al-Qaeda. Wild. Again. These are not comics that are living paycheck to paycheck. Even the golfers, even the tennis players, if you're ranked 150 in the world and you get invited and it's a huge appearance fee, I think it's a conversation you have with your family, but, maybe you take it because this is the only years in your life where you make money. All of these comics have a full calendar. You got a full calendar. I say no to gigs because I didn't like the way they sat the room the last time I was there. Or I'll say, you know what? The manager really, really didn't support comedy the way I wanted this person to. No, thank you. I tell them thank you, but no, thank you. I mean, guys, say no. You can say no. You can say no. And it mostly is men because they probably don't let women do comedy. There's the first reason you could say no. My God. All right, let's do some results. Sorry. I mean, I'm critical of my community, of my comedy community. And I have that right. I'm also critical of the tennis community. I have that right. Let's start with the women because a few of you made a good point last week. I never even mentioned the Billie Jean King Cup. You're right. I should have. I got locked in on probably Trump or some male results and just didn't happen. Also, I get very intimidated by these team events. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I went to the WTA website and I was like, oh, it's not the Billie Jean King Cup. It's called the United Cup. And then I realized I was looking at January where there's another team event, the United Cup. All right, we are currently in China Open. Swiatek is cruising through. Let's go to round of 32 right now. We have Swiatek versus Emma Navarro. That should be nice. Kostyuk versus Pegula. Pegula saved like 4 match points against Emma Raducanu, who's now 30, seeded 30. Andreeva, 4 seed versus Kartal, British. Patova versus Noskova. Paulini versus Buzkova. My friend Adam Deggy, comedian. You've heard him on the Tennis Anyone podcast. He sent me a funny picture of Jasmine Paulini hitting a shot like this. Those of you watching on YouTube, I can't remember. Hitting a shot like this, and then the Yannick stencil was also her face. And it looked like she was wearing a Yannick stencil mask. It's a cool shot. Good job, everybody. No, I don't, WTA, I don't want to unlock Coco Gauff's pop-up. I just want to read the, how do I close this? I can't. Oh, great. Super cool. It's impossible to close that. There we go. Kessler, Lees, Coco Gauff, Bencic. So in the quarterfinals right now, all we have is Lees. Is that her name? Oh, geez. Of course. I should know her. Eva Lees. You know why I should know her? Because I interviewed her. You fucking idiot, Kosta. At the for the Tennis Channel for Indian Wells. She was lucky loser at Australian Open. And they wanted me to interview another lucky loser. And I was like, oh, yeah, she's great. Eva Lees is great. Big personality. I think her dad's her coach. Hits a nice ball. Competes well, understands the branding of tennis very well. She plays Coco Gauff in the quarterfinal of the China Open. And then the men, China. Oh, gosh, here we go. Calendar. Finished. So we had Swiatek won the WTA 500 in Korea. And then right now is China. September. What? Where'd it go? Oh, gee whiz, guys. Sorry, everybody. Men. Beijing, Tokyo, both 500s. Right? Is that right? 250, 250, Laver Cup, Tokyo, 500, 500. So let's first do Japan. Alcaraz beat Fritz in the final 4-4. That must have just happened. Number 1 seed versus number 2 seed. Good win for Fritz. And then we also got Beijing, which is a 500. Still happening. Sinner versus De Minaur in the semi. Teen. Remember him? Remember the American teen? I saw him at Kalamazoo years ago. Why do we not know who he's playing yet? He's playing Medvedev or Zverev, which must be playing right now. Teen, you guys. Lerner Teen. Lerner Tien. Currently 52 in the world. Currently 48 in the world. This is what's crazy. You're 48 in the world. His record is 24-26. I mean, how fucking good do you have to be at tennis to get a winning record? He has a losing record. He has $2 million career, $1 million this year. He's moved up 2 spots. That's his career record. Last year's record, 19-20, 19-20, 119-20. It's crazy. This is what I mean. Like all young players, all USTA players, the best thing you can do, and this was my biggest problem, the best thing you can do is learn how to forget a loss. Learn how to forget that you missed a forehand on match point. Learn how to forget. You got to forget all that bullshit. And just every match is just fresh. And the dumb players do that really well. Sorry, the best players are dumb is what I'm trying to say. We've talked about it before on this pod. Wouldn't it be funny if Roger Federer was actually just like a fucking idiot? But you have to let that shit go. Otherwise, it burrows itself in your brain and it starts to affecting your strokes and your psyche and your movement. The 48 player, the 52 ranked player in the world has lost more matches this year than won. Sucks. He's also in the in the semifinals right now, which is freaking awesome. That's a big win. That's a big tournament for him. All right. Time zones, different websites, all a pain in the butt. I'll be at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle this weekend, Friday and Saturday. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. More dates coming up. I thought this was helpful. This is from the New York Times. How to break free from your phone. The shooting and the burning of the church in Grand Blanc, the ICE shooting in North Carolina, Charlie Kirk, Colorado, shooting. It just seems to me like the more people are stuck online, the more polarized, radical, and extreme they become. We have a president who lives online, feeds the anger and hate. Those people hear that from the executive in charge and then go online where they live already. They're not watching mainstream media. They're not watching balanced news or at least news that's more balanced. They're not reading real journalism where they have to check the sources. They're living online that spews them slop. Maybe something is 10% true and they build a whole story around it. It's a fake video. It's a real video. They're going to podcasts for takes, extreme people that, didn't go to journalism school. And I know the counter is like, well, you don't have to go to school to be smart. You're right. But some of that journalism shit is nice because it has to check the sources. And if the sources aren't viable, you don't print it or post it or claim it's true. It seems to me the more someone is online, the more they live online, the more extreme their beliefs become, and the more they believe we are distanced and divided more than we actually are. We were watching Alcaraz Rude, me and my daughters this weekend, and it's a grind getting them to watch tennis with me, but we're slow. I'm slowly whittling them down. And the match was over, and they shook hands, and I said, "Look what they did. It's one of the most important parts of a tennis match. They're done, and they are meeting at the net. And you say good match, or you say bad match, or you say good effort. But they are connecting. They're physically touching these two people who are far apart from each other, men or women, who are battling each other for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it's finally done, and they come together. One of the best parts about hockey is they literally break each other's noses, and then they do the line, and they shake hands, and they, it's a long, slow handshake. You ever watch like a seven game series? I mean, it is a slow handshake. They really get in there. So I'm angry, man. I'm angry about the shooters in Michigan. It pisses me off. I hate that Governor Whitmer has to come on and do all the lower your rhetoric and protect each other. And then, then you turn on somebody else and it's a different statement. And it's really frustrating to try to raise kids, to try to live your life, to try to pay your taxes and do the right things. And every time you turn on the TV, some fucking idiot has killed innocent people, ruined their lives, ruined their kids' lives, ruined their families' lives, gotten killed, hurt people, spread hate and fear and anger around in the world. And it makes you angry, right? So it's like it works. Some idiot crashes his truck into Mormons peacefully believing in whatever they believe in, kills some people, sets it on fire, and it sucks, and it makes you mad. And it sucks. So I think it would be good if we all got off our phone and got offline more, meaning we were offline more often. This is myself too. I'm talking to myself. I'm not perfect. I pick it up when I'm bored. The first sign that I'm bored, walking the dog, I pick it up. Just live with it, bro. Live in the world. You don't have to be connected all the time. This was in the New York Times. This was published a month ago, but I've thought about this a few times, so I thought I would share it with you. And it has some good examples, and I've tried to do some of these. 84% of Americans say they are online either several times a day or, quote, almost constantly. It's not good, you guys. Not good. Not good. Junk food, smoking, driving fast, not having real social connections and nourishing relationships, not good. On your deathbed, what kind of life do you want to look back on? The author of How to Break Up with Your Phone. One in which you spent your time with people you love and on things that brought you meaning and joy, or one that you spent staring down at your phone. So how do we cut back? I like some of these. Here we go. Choose a goal and set a deadline. Book a driving test before you're ready. Sign up for a marathon before you've started training. Invite friends to dinner before you know how to cook. With a deadline looming, your spare time fills with preparation and practice. My screen time has never been lower. I realized this recently after months of cramming to meet a ridiculous deadline. My screen time has never been lower. Now I look back with horror at how many skills I could have learned over the years, the hours wasted. So these are different people who share their insight. I guess what this person is saying is choose a goal instead of deadline, like not choose a goal with your phone, but like, hey, I want to learn French in a month. Well, if you need to learn French in a month, you're not going to be scrolling. I like this one a lot. Always be charging. Set up a central charging altar and leave your phone there when you're home. When your phone has a designated place, you're less likely to carry it like a digital pacifier. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yeah, like if I'm in the front of the apartment and I go to the back of the apartment, I carry my phone with me. It's okay, dude. Leave it on top of the thing. In the morning when I wake up to make coffee now, well, now my phone's already charging somewhere else, not next to my bed, but I leave it up there. And it's crazy. At first, I kind of want it. And then I sit down and I either grab a book or I just contemplate. I look out the window. I see my neighbor cleaning the windows, whatever. Swap out your smartphone. I'm not a smartwatch guy. Replace scrolling with me time. When I'm about to reach for TikTok, I give that time to myself instead. Isn't that cool? Give that time to yourself, because otherwise you're giving that time to the person who posted the TikTok, or even worse, the brand and corporation of TikTok. I read a poem or a chapter of a novel. I listen to new music, or I take a walk. I exercise. I stretch. If every time we were going to reach for the phone, we just stretched, my dog, Walter, he does downward dog all fucking day. Rather than try batching. This is good too. Try checking messages, social media, and email, and rather than checking them all day long, set 2 or 3 specific times when you can do that. I batch 3 times a day. First thing in the morning, 15 minutes. Right before lunch, 20 minutes. And in the afternoon for 40 minutes. This is hard for me, but I think if I checked Instagram twice a day, I would still get the same fulfillment. I would still see what's going on. I would still see that this video is doing well, this video isn't doing well, as opposed to just constantly. There's an app called Forest and Streaks that help you keep track of how you've been offline. I've never done that. This is good. Go phone free on Saturday or Sunday. Tough, because you sometimes need to order Ubers or need to look something up. But if you're with your partner, you could say, I'm leaving my phone at home. I'm going to try that one. That one's harder for me. I used to do that back in the day. I'm going to go out to dinner and I would just leave my phone. It is crazy. It's just always attached to us. It's kind of fucked up. Try something new. Now, this is something I've done. I've gotten an old school alarm clock. The phone is nowhere near my bed when I sleep. I used to lay in bed and scroll and then go to sleep. And then I stopped waking up and looking at the phone first thing. That creeped me out. When there's loved ones in your bed with you or a dog you can pet, do that. But charge somewhere else. Use a different alarm clock. I almost look forward to plugging my phone in and leaving it, and it's like putting your kid to sleep. Shut up, go to sleep. It says get a sleeping bag for your phone. Put it somewhere else. Create a physical barrier. This is good for the sauna, swimming, places where you're not allowed to have your phone. The gym is good for this. That you can't have your phone when you're swimming. I've done a lot of biking. I don't like using the GPS on my phone because I get dings and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'd rather just get lost for a second. Oh, I'm supposed to turn left on Warren. Oh, I missed Warren. Now I'm on Chambers. Okay, I figured it out. Scroll like it's 2006. It said, you want to scroll Instagram? Go to your desktop and do it. Delete the slot machine apps. Change your hardware. Do something difficult, which is kind of the first one. Anyways, the big ones I think are takeaways are charge your phone somewhere else at night. Have a hub for your phone in your apartment so you don't carry it around with you. When you feel like grabbing TikTok or Instagram, read a book, pick something up. Stretch. And I like this phone-free Sundays or like going out to dinner, leave your phone at home. I just am scared that the phone is really fucking us up and we're not going to realize it, or the powers that be who control the phones are going to be so embedded with the administration and so wealthy that even if we like smoking, even if we know it's bad for us, they're too embedded. Never forget, there used to be billboards of pregnant women smoking or drinking beer. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. Nourish your social connections. We're all works in progress. I feel that same way about every comedian who said yes to the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. If anything, maybe a few of them are feeling some of the pushback and they're just thinking, oh, maybe I should just pay more attention to that stuff. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't control them. And certainly before I cast judgment, I've had to go like, oh, yeah, Michael, McDonald's probably kills more people than the Saudi Arabian government. And you've endorsed them before. And all I can say to you about that is every time you take a job, you look back on it and you think, was it good that I did that job? Did it help me? Did it nourish me? Do I regret doing that job? And all you can do is think, but going forward, what would I do next time? And I can say for me, working for a fast food chain, I was like, oh, I can't do that again. But that's all they need is one time, right? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, life is such a wonderful ride, and my heart goes out to anybody who's experiencing any of the crazy trauma lately with violence. And I just hope we connect more and nourish more. And even if you have a challenging conversation with a loved one and it feels awful and it didn't work, you feel like it did work. Sometimes that challenging conversation is the pressure release valve. Hope to see you at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle this weekend. I'm Michael Kosta. Game, set, match. Kosta.